Hey guys, Brent Ehrler with Tackle Warehouse, and here is a Grand Lake recap. I really had a lot of fun. It's interesting how things went down this week. We've really had a late winter. Anywhere in the south, it just seems like it's been really cold. And literally, it's been cold up until we got here. Right now, it's 80 degrees. Even the first couple days of practice, first day of practice, it was almost, still in the 30s in the morning, so it was cold. Then we had rain and just never had these big, bright, sunny days. Well, not only has it been cold all winter long, it got really warm. It got really warm right around the full moon. So a lot of fish pulled up to spawn, but they weren't spawning just yet. They were just starting in practice, but the water was stained. So for me, I didn't really look that much because you just couldn't see them. So what I did is I just started covering water, and to cover water anytime it's stained like that, a good bait is a crankbait. So I took a Lucky Craft 1.5 pearl threadfin shad. I put it on a Tatula Elite 7.4 cranking rod. That's my design of a cranking rod. And then I took the 6.3 gear ratio Steez and put 16-pound SUNLINE FC Sniper on it. And one thing that was a big key this week, and it is day in and day out, but I changed the treble to a Finesse medium heavy treble hook. And a lot of times these fish were swatting at it. You'd hook them outside the face, you'd hook them. I actually caught a 5-pound and I hooked in the belly. I think probably had the bait. Stacked for a second. So what I think happened is that he pulled off and actually rehooked himself. So I landed and caught him with that Finesse. It's a size 2 Finesse medium heavy. It's such a good treble hook. I promise you, I landed more fish this week just for the fact of having that treble hook on there. I was basically just covering water with that, fishing rock, fishing laydowns. Then I would switch to a jig. Now what I noticed is that the fish would go from only eating the crankbait to only eating the jig, and vice versa. They would get off the jig and go right back to the crankbait. It wasn't a crank first thing in the morning and then throw a jig the rest of the day. It would go back and forth. I had one morning where I immediately started throwing the jig. The other mornings I'd throw the crankbait. Then in the afternoons I had it where they were eating the jig and then they stopped, and I picked up the crankbait and caught a couple. But not only did I caught a couple, they'd have it so far down their throat that they would be bleeding. I'd be worried about them dying because they're eating it so well. So you kind of had to go back and forth. But the jig that I threw is a Boss 7/16, and it's called a mini flip jig. Just a green pumpkin, and I put a Yamamoto 5-inch twin tail trailer on it. With this I went with 20-pound FC Sniper Fluorocarbon. I went with an 8.1 gear ratio Tatula SV. One thing I really noticed about the SV reel is it skips better. Now I used the Montgomery skipping rod. He is one of the best in the country at skipping jigs around docks. So I used his rod, the SV reel, and it allowed me to skip the jig around docks. It allowed me to skip it under dock cables. I could skip it in between the floats on the dock, and just very effective with this setup. Also, it was just a perfect setup for fishing around laydown too. If I cranked around laydown and didn't get a bite, I could make 1 or 2 pitches in there with the jig and pick up a few extra fish. So that was really all I caught them on. I mean, I had lots of rods out and tried other things. I ran a 1.5 and a TO craw. I had a chartreuse black back. I had several different colors, but it just seemed like the pearl threadfin was the best one. And hindsight, looking back on it, I only caught them on 2 baits. I caught them on the jig and I caught them on the 1.5. So it was a fun week. Got a good check. Got some great points for the season, and ready to get on the next one. So all this stuff here is available right here on tacklewarehouse.com.